Creative Director Kim Kesty, and I'm super excited to be here once again in the beginning of the month to share with you our brand new Stamp of the Month. Stamp of the Month is a club that you can subscribe to and get a brand new full-size red rubber stamp in your mailbox every single month. And this video is all about kind of bonus techniques, things that I like to share with you to really get the most out of your stamp set and really bring that stamp set to life. I'm going to share 3 bonus techniques with you in this short video, but first let's take a look at the actual stamp set. The stamp set for this month is so fun and so fresh and cute. In fact, it's called Fresh Start. So this is our April Stamp of the Month, and it is just so much fun. There's going to be so many fun techniques you can do. When you get your Stamp of the Month in the mail, of course you get the full-size red rubber stamp set. I've already got some stamps pulled out of my blocks, and they are of course fully indexed with the indexing on the back. Super high quality, made in the US. Love our red rubber stamps. And then you also get this really fun postcard in, and this is kind of a little collectible. We do all of our postcards in the same size. You can kind of collect them and put them in a little box or whatever. And this has some step outs and directions on how to make this gorgeous card, which I just love. And then the back also has some additional inspiration photos, a link to our blog where of course we have additional projects, so many fun things. This card right here is going to be one that I'm going to be stepping out for you today as kind of one of the bonus techniques. So super fun, looking forward to that. And again, this is our April Stamp of the Month. So I'm going to set that little guy aside. And like I said, let's just dive right in because this stamp is just begging to be brought to life. So I've got some stamps on blocks already, and I thought it would be kind of fun to do kind of a fun frame. So that card that I just showed you, I'm going to show you in real life right now. This is the one on the back of the postcard. But look at this gorgeous frame. So not only do we have so much fun coloring these flowers, they were colored all in with our Color Burst pencils, which I'll just bring in here real quick. They're just our pure color pencils, gorgeous, creamy, regular lead pencils. That's how we colored all the flowers. I won't really walk through the coloring because I think part of the really bonus part of this card is this lovely frame. So let me show you how we created that. It's really quite easy, but super fun. So first of all, I took some of our nested triangles. So these these are rectangles, silly me. These rectangles we have are called Journey rectangles, and of course they are all nested, so they come in a variety of sizes. So I just took 2 of the kind of medium rectangles and I layered them together on my cardstock, and I did put a little bit of tape to tape them down, and then I just run it through my machine, and then when it comes out, of course, kind of release this tape. First of all, you have this square, which I will of course set aside for a future project because that's a perfect little rectangle. But I'm most interested in this piece that comes out as the frame. So it's so easy to nest those dies and just have this perfectly sized frame. So now, because I want to add that really fun glitter, I'm going to grab one of our staples, and I bet a lot of you already have this in your stash, and this is called our white liner tape. So it's just your classic double-side sticky tape. Super easy to apply because you can just rip it with your hands. I am going to probably want to grab my little scissors right here because you can also trim the edges when we get to the edge of the frame because I want those to be nice and neat. So I'll kind of start with just applying one right here. Like I said, you can rip it off, and if you have excess on the other side, you can just trim it away. And then the perfect tool for our white liner tape, the perfect match made in heaven, is our bloom tool because it has this really cool, what I call the dental pick. It's actually called the bent piercer, but it's a perfect tool for using with our white liner tape. You can do 2 things. You can smooth it down just so you get a really nice adherence to the cardstock. And then you also use this tip to just go ahead and release the top of the tape. So quick and easy, so much better than trying to dig at it with your fingernails, especially those of us who are fingernail challenged. So I would just go ahead and put the tape all the way around. I've actually done that with a frame because you guys probably don't want to watch me peel tape for the next 5 minutes, but there's my very last piece. So now I have the sticky tape on all 4 sides of my frame. Now the fun part comes, the part that's maybe a little messy, but that's okay. I'm going to grab our sparkle dust. So those of you who are not familiar with the Fun Stamper's Journey sparkle dust, it is the most gorgeous, super fine glitter I have ever seen. It just kind of tends to take on the hue of whatever cardstock you apply it to. It's just ultra fine and super pretty. So I'm just going to have fun pouring it right on here. Now you could put a cardstock underneath, I suppose, but I have my grid paper here, which I'm good with. And just kind of be generous and dump it all along that tape. Of course, because it's sticky, it's going to grab that sparkle just beautifully. So I got a generous amount. And I can also kind of come in with my fingertips and smooth it down so I make sure it's rubbed right into that liner tape. I want to make sure I've got good coverage. Oh, okay, then I just tap it off. And I'll pause a moment and clean this guy up in just a minute. But check out the frame when it's done. Is that not gorgeous? It almost looks like it's a pink glitter because, of course, the cardstock is showing underneath. By the way, that was our Watermelon Fusion cardstock that I used. So there's the original color, and there's the gorgeous sparkly color. So fun and so easy. Now, don't be afraid of glitter. It's a little bit messy, but it's all good. Let me bring back the finished card just to show you how gorgeous it looks with all those flowers just popping right out of that frame. Isn't that just fun? Love it. So that is just a fun technique to help you bring this stamp to life. I'm going to pause just a second and clean up this glitter, and I'll be right back. All right, so my space is glitter free now. Awesome. So I also wanted to show you another additional card where we use the same type of die cutting frame technique. I thought I would pop this one in and just show you. Super fun. It uses our hexagon dies this time, but same exact technique, just layering up those dies. And I don't have quite as many flowers popping through the frame, but look how sweet that is. So much fun. And one more project, since we're talking about glitter, we also have a second glitter besides our really fine sparkle dust. FSJ also has a really cool sparkle cuts. This one's called Sparkle Cuts, and it's just quite a bit chunkier. I'll open it just so you can kind of see. Isn't that pretty? So same sort of hue, but just chunkier. So this card was really simple. That didn't really require much coloring at all. We colored in the little stems, but then the sparkle cuts are just held on with just a light layer of Journey Glaze. So aren't those pretty? They really kind of bring those flowers to life in such a sweet way. So we love our sparkle dust and our sparkle cuts. Both of them are just so much fun to use. Okay, I'll tuck these guys aside. Now I have one more card technique. I actually have two more, but this is my second one. And this is kind of a little bit different technique in that it uses a background, but it uses our whipped cream ink, which I personally don't use all the time, but I need to remember to use it a little more often because this one is so fun. So what I did first, I took a panel of our Rustic Rose cardstock, and I went ahead and rounded the corners because I thought this kind of suited the sweetness of this card. But this technique is really easy, and it would be really a fun one for, you know, maybe if you taught classes or you crafted with a friend. I'm going to grab our bubblegum ink. So that's a little bit lighter pink than this Rustic Rose because I want to do just a little bit of really subtle shading. And then I'm also grabbing a large dauber dowel that has a fresh little sponge on there. Now this blending technique is pretty simple. I like to come in and do all the edges of my card base right here. But I don't want to maybe go directly to the paper, so I kind of use my grid paper or your scrap paper and kind of bring the blending in from your paper and then onto your cardstock. So from your scrap paper to your cardstock. So it gives a really soft, nice edge. And again, because the corners are rounded, it just really suits the style of this card. So you would just go on and on all the way around. And then the ink will dry a little bit lighter. So here's my panel I did earlier today. And you can see that the ink has dried just a little bit softer and a little bit lighter. So that's what it will do once it soaks into the cardstock. So this is exactly the look I wanted. It just gives that really subtle, nice shading around the edge. So yeah, I think the video can pick that up. That looks amazing. And then I'm going to grab my whipped cream ink. Like I said, this is one of our pigment inks. And I don't use it. I tend to do white embossing a little bit more, but I thought, you know what? These flowers are so pretty and soft. I really wanted to keep a soft impression. So I'm going to grab 3 of the stamps from the set. The larger flower, kind of the medium flower, and then this little flower bud. So I'm just going to go through and stamp all 3 as a background. Easy peasy. Just ink up my stamp. And again, you could do white embossing. That would probably be absolutely gorgeous. But why not try the whipped cream ink for a little bit different look? Isn't that pretty? Just really soft. And then I'm just going to kind of come through and do the entire background of the cardstock. And you can start in the middle, or you can kind of start on the edges and work your way down, kind of like I'm doing here. We will kind of, let's tuck this guy in here. Like I said, grab your little bloom, you know, use that to kind of fill in your smaller spaces. And then you continue on, etc., and fill up your entire card base. Super simple. Now the white pigment ink does take a few more seconds to dry than the normal ink, so kind of set that aside if you're working on another project, or you can use your heat tool and apply the heat tool and speed up the drying process. Let me show you the finished card, because it really didn't take much to finish this and just make it super fun and super sweet. I mounted it on a whipped cream card base. I added a little splatter of our silk. We have a whipped cream silk that just adds a little softness and just a little tiny bit of glitter to the card. And then the sentiment just kind of pops out against the card because the card background is so muted. So love that. Thought that was just a fun technique. Super simple. You don't always have to be the expert colorer, you know, coloring all these flowers. There's so many different ways you can use them to create backgrounds and to layer and just have so much fun with. All right, should we try one more technique? You guys ready? This is, I kind of saved the best for last and also a little bit of the scariest for last, because this last one is going to be one where I'm going to create a background with a gel press. Now, to me, the gel press is something that is super fun. If I really have to get in there and try a lot of different techniques, I love using the gel press. But it is intimidating for some people. Let me go ahead and grab it and show you what it looks like. So this is our Journey gel press. It's 8.5 by 11, which is an exclusive size for us. And you can see that mine's pretty well loved. I like to really get in there and use it. And even though this doesn't look perfectly clean, and you can come back with a baby wipe and kind of go over it, sure, you know, as you in between uses. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be that perfect, shiny, original gel press that you get fresh out of the package. The more loved, the better, I say. And I'm also grabbing my brayer because I'll use that with this guy. Let me go ahead and set my colors up. All right, so we've grabbed my white cardstock. I've just got a few extra panels cut. I really only need one for my card, but I always have a couple extra handy because once you're doing the gel press, like I said, it's awesome just to do several different prints. So this is a mono printing system, and that means every time that I apply any kind of medium, in this case I'm using liquid color, I will generally only get one print at a time, and then I'll have to add some more color. Does that make sense? So let me show you what 3 colors I'm using. I kind of went fast there. I'm using Banana Cream, that's all the way on the right. And then next is Peaches and Cream. And then the last color is Cool Pool. And you can see that already these are an amazing color combination. They're going to be so pretty together. Really soft and fresh. So now I grab my brayer and I just kind of want to blend those colors in a little bit together. So I'm moving it slightly left and right. And the best way I found to get this technique is to have your paper ready, because the liquid color will kind of bubble up, as you can see on there. So I'm going to have my whipped cream cardstock ready, and you guys just watch. This will be super fast. We'll brayer it out, and while it's still smooth, we'll smack our paper down. Is that like a fast technique or what? Then you can kind of rub it down, and then when you come back and pull your print, you get a really fun combination of colors. Okay, so that's still a little bit bubbly, so I'm going to try it. I'm actually going to just try to pull the color I have off my brayer. We'll see if we have enough here. I'm going to lay it down again. I'll try to be quick with my cardstock. I might have had to add more ink. Let's see what happens. I've got a couple I did earlier today. And really the fun of the gel press is they do come out all different. Yeah, that one didn't have quite enough ink. Let's check out one that I did earlier that I was pretty happy with. So you can see that this one has a little bit more of that blended look. Now again, it's not all the way to the edges of the cardstock, and I think that's totally fine. That's really the look you want. You want that kind of unique, one-of-a-kind printed look. So I'm going to take this guy now, and I'm going to bring in some of our fresh sage ink. I'm just going to grab one of our flower stamps. I'm going to stamp another background, but this time instead of using a variety of stamps, I'm just going to use the one largest flower. And the fresh sage is really a great complement to the Cool Pool that we used here. So I'm just going to grab this guy. And again, kind of do the similar thing we did before. This time we're stamping the background and just kind of using the stamp layering it up all over here. You'll want to come in the edges and do all the little edge pieces. But how gorgeous is that color on this background? Isn't it pretty? I love how fresh and springy that looks. So again, you would continue on your entire background, and then you have something like this. And you can see that this one, I guess we've got this one upside down, that I did earlier is not the same as this. So again, every gel press print's going to come out a little bit different. This has a little bit more of that, you know, white kind of cardstock showing through, but it's perfectly lovely. I love it. I love how both of them turned out. And let me show you the finished card, because that's always a fun reveal. And here's the one that's finished. So in order to finish this one, we just took, again, that hexagon die back there. This time we colored this little flower in with our color burst pencils that I showed you earlier. Put a fun little sentiment on and a few gold sequins. Isn't that fun? So it looks really artsy, and it actually looks harder, I think, than it actually is. Again, don't be intimidated by that gel press. Get in there and have fun. Here's one more card that we did with the gel press. One of our designers did this one. And this one's kind of fun and crazy on those bright colors. So again, this is the gel press, and that's just shorter strokes and just a really fun pull, a really fun print that she did. So super cute. Love the sentiments on this set. Love all the fun things you can do. So many cute projects. I'm just going to bring them all in here because they're so much fun. I just know that you are going to love this month's stamp of the month. You'll have so much fun using it all year round, not just for spring. Of course, Mother's Day is coming up soon. That's going to be a fun way to use it. But I know that you'll get so much use out of it all throughout the year. So enjoy this month's stamp of the month. Again, it's called Fresh Start. And if you are not already a subscriber, please consider doing so and just visit us on our club page at spellbinders.us. We will see you soon.